When someone mentions pinball, the first thing I think about is, do I have the game? Are they selling that game, or do they have a friend that's got that game? My name is Rob Burke, and currently I'm the Guinness Book of Records holder for the most pinball machines. And the reason why I have so many of these games is during COVID, I had nothing to do. People say, hey, you gotta be sick, man. There's something wrong with you. For me, pinball represents a time in my childhood that was a happy time. Yeah, so as a young fellow, my dad had purchased a pinball machine, which I didn't really know what it was. And over years, the more I played, I said, hey, Dad, how about getting another machine? These are fun. The fuse was lit, and who knew how far it was gonna go? I didn't know. And then I went to college, and there I was introduced to pinball like crazy, because at the time there was no video games, it was all pinball, and I became a pinball nut. Loved playing, loved the thrill of playing. It ignited a fever that's never stopped. Reading up on pinball, learning about the different designers and artists. And I said to myself, these are the guys who are my real heroes, because they built and designed the games I love enjoying so much. So I started running ads in some of the trade publications, wanted to buy pinball machines. And the next thing I knew, I got phone calls from a guy in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It was in the wintertime and it was cold, but I flew down to see him. And he had a warehouse full of machines, and I ended up buying 40 from that guy. Then I got a phone call from a guy, and I bought 20 from him. And then I got a phone call from a guy, and he had a warehouse of about 400 games. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I says, I can't buy all these, but I did buy another 40 from that guy. But the most money I ever spent for a pinball machine, $12,000 to $15,000. The collection started to grow, and I realized that the passion was pretty strong. About a year and a half ago, because I had so many games, it was like, where am I going to put them all? So I was so crazy, because I had passed this building many times, and I said, hey, maybe I can buy this building, put my games in there, and whenever I feel like I'll come in, open up the door to the front door, play a few games, and call it a night. And my wife said, you're crazy. If you're going to go to that extent, you might as well open up to the public, let them enjoy the games as well. So that's why Pastimes was developed and how it came about. Well, guys, welcome to Pastimes. And if you look behind us, we're seeing well over 600 pinball machines and video games and everything else you can imagine. My favorite aisle is most people that go to any kind of arcade, all they see is the games made in America. This is a whole lot different down here. Hankin was a manufacturer out of Australia. I am the only person in the United States that has all 5 titles made by this manufacturer. But as we walk down here, all these games come from either Spain or Italy. Games and titles that you'll never see anywhere in America. But they have their own style of games, their own unique artwork. I always thought this is a fun one here. And as a pinball player, there's a lot of shots on here that we don't have in the US. Now this is a unique game here. A lot of the European manufacturers copied the American games, but just changed the artwork totally. The American title was called Rock. This is the Spanish title, Punk Willie. As you can see, a lot of the newer games have all licensed themes. Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones, Spider-Man, NASCAR. This game was made in America, but it was totally refurbished from a guy in Italy. So what's unique about this game is that the apron here where the instruction card is, he totally tweaked out the apron where he cut out some forms of the skateboarders and added the radical name. So this is very, very unique. So he really, as they say, tricked it out. And over here is one of my more favorite games, came from Japan. So this is one of the very few Japanese titles I've ever seen. It's very rare to find a Japanese pinball machine anywhere on American soil. $1,500 just to air freight one game here. But this one here was made in 1972. Very unique layout, very unique design of the game. So it's really kind of a fun part of my collection. Pokemon. This game was originally made as high score pool in 1971, but I met a fellow that redesigned this entire game for his kids who love Pokemon. So he's got all the Pokemon cards on the side and the Pokemon, a little video here. So this shows one man's passion for his kids and how he put this on the game. Pretty cool. This is a unique game here. This is a relatively low production run too. This is a very unusual game here, Orbiter, but it's almost like a bathtub here, the way the layout of the game is. Here's a unique game here where to play the game, the ball is here in the middle. You have to push a button to push the ball out. But as you play the game, it moves the cars along the back. So the baseball concept was popular during this time, and hit it. Pitch and hit. Again, there's no flippers anywhere on here. Everything is handled through this. This pitch and bat. Another reason why they did this is certain areas, certain states banned pinball because they considered it gambling, and this was their way to get around it so these games would be permissible in these various states. This is another interesting concept they had. Horse racing was very popular in the US during this time. This is 67, but all the horses go back. As you hit the certain numbers, it makes that corresponding horse move forward. So everything in this area here is all the very, very early beginnings of pinball. Whenever they added the lock and coin mechanism to start the game, that's when the terminology pinball came as we know pinball today. Now, as you see, there's no flippers back then. Drawing the ball back, hitting it, you don't move it, you just kind of let it go where it goes, and you add up your points manually. It's a little bit later game, 1932, a game called Jigsaw. This was made for the Chicago World's Fair. But what's interesting is on this game is when you go inside certain holes, it flips the puzzle around, and when it's all done, it's the whole layout of the Chicago World's Fair. Again, more vintage games from the 30s. They start adding more figures to it and little metal forms just to make it more intriguing, more modernistic. There's a little backdrop to it where the score is. Baseball was a very popular pastime during this day, so there was a theme there. Then this is a game made by Bally called Bumper, where they added yet another feature to add more excitement to the play of the game. Okay, remember that name there, Harry Mabs. You see him? See it? In 1947, Harry Mabs created an invention which he called the flipper. And this is the very first game the flipper appeared on. And the whole idea being with the flipper, you could keep the ball active and alive. It took the industry by storm. After 1947 on, flipper never went away. This is the one section here is a favorite area for me. These games were made by Williams in the 1960s, but what makes them so unique is they had this little table here, so you could lay your drink there and your cigarette. So in between pinballs, you have a drink or have a cigarette, but for whatever reason, after the 1960s, they quit doing it. This row here are all games made by Bally in the 1960s. And the reason why I have so many of these games is during COVID, I had nothing to do. I thought to myself, what could I collect next? I said, Bally games in the 60s. And the reason why is, for the most part, anyone that played or collected games of this era don't really care for these games. You play them once and you walk away because the design was so simple, I guess you could say. I said to myself, I'll show them. I'm going to buy every Bally game I can find of this era. They call this a mushroom bumper that was their creation. The theme here was very crazy, the Mad World. Just a part of Americana that has since gone, again, because this manufacturer is no longer around, but again, the games they made were very unique, but they weren't that much fun to play. So during my travels with pinball, and the one guy I met was Tom Neiman, who was the head of marketing for Bally. So Wizard was one of the first licenses he brought. As you see, Captain Fantastic with Elton John was another one he did. Very well known and paid very handsomely by Bally because he was able to start something that had never been done in the pinball industry, and that's using licensing to sell the games. Atari was not to be outdone, and here's why in a second. Follow me. As part of Atari's marketing, they decided to develop the world's largest pinball machine. So pinball is actually a billiard ball, but everything is oversized. The flippers, the thumper bumpers, every part, and the sheer size of the game. Atari were able to have a marketing frenzy because they created the world's largest pinball machine and people wanted to see it. Pastimes has over 600 games, pinball and video, but also we have a whole lot more. This is one called Periscope. Again, another unique piece. You're trying to shoot the submarine as it comes across. Maybe that's too easy, huh, guys? Space Invaders Frenzy. We have a sit-down video game here. Star Trek, you can't go wrong with that. We have just a gun game here for the kids to play more than the adults.
There's a chair, you guys wanted the King Fruit chair. Oh, yeah.
So here's all the storage. I mean, this is just some of them, as far as your eye can see. And more down here.
Wow.
And there's more upstairs.
Wow.
That's the total collection. But there's these games over here, these games back here. So everywhere you turn, there's pinball machines. This is all the early games from the 30s. So this is all the ones with no flippers. How much bigger can you get than this thing? It's pretty massive. Some of these games, like this one here, would just sit on top of a bar. What there is here is a lot of history. A lot of games, guys. All right, kids?
All right.
You guys should be experts now.
We should.
Yeah, last count we're around 1,150 games. How high it's gonna go, who knows, but it's still growing. It's pretty great to get recognized for it, because I know I put so much time and effort in building it, and seeing it built and seeing it grow. And I have a great team of people around me to help keep these games up and running. So it makes the hobby more fun. It's crazy, because I think I've reached my max as far as how many games I can buy. You know, what happens is sometimes someone just reached out to me recently from Spain and says, hey, I got 95 games you don't have in your collection. I said, oh no.